Now that we know how to change the shape of the hairs, let's take a look at how we can change the length, whether we're making them longer or shorter. Now there's a few different ways we can go about this. Now the first way is very similar to what we already looked at. We could simply go over to our nHair menu. Let's go to display and let's show the, for example, start position curves. And I could go over here and grab some vertices, perhaps those right there, and I can simply scale them. Maybe bring that up and my hair will be shorter. And that works just fine. Of course, that can be a little time consuming. So they give us a couple other ways to do this. So one tool that you could use is called the Scale Hair tool. And the neat thing about this tool is that we don't have to be in either the start position or the rest position. We can actually be in any one of them. So for example, if I go over here to the current position, I can grab, let's say, all these hairs here, and then I can come over here to nHair, Scale Hair tool. Now when you select it, you can click and drag all you want. However, it's not going to work very well. And that's because we're typically, as users, going to drag up and down. It's actually left and right you're going to want to drag. And you can see right there that I can change the length of those hairs. Now you have to be careful. It's literally just scaling the hair. So even the curvature up here near the scalp is going to get scaled. So I'll hit the move tool to exit out of that. And let's say we grab maybe some of these in front here. Let's say this is what we want to shrink. Maybe let's grab a little bit more right there. And we'll deselect those eyes. All right. So I want to try to scale these down. Now the problem I'm going to run into is as soon as I use my Scale Hair tool, it's going to dig into the head a little bit, and that's unfortunate. However, it's actually not that big a deal. We can actually do this, and then we can come in and use some of our other tools. Now, we know that the tools, let me actually not necessarily deselect those. We know that the tools that we're typically using, which was in the last clip, are these Modify Curve tools, and unfortunately, they're not going to work on these current curves. So what we can do is actually convert this selection. I'll come over here to nHair. We'll come over here to Convert Selection, and I'm going to say let's convert these to our start curve. So it'll go to start curves, but keep them selected for me, which is very, very useful. So I want to kind of straighten these out a little bit. Now, you can see that's kind of curving them in. That's not really what I want. However, let's say I come over here and choose something like Scale Curvature. Now, the default settings on this is going to scale it further in. However, what I can do is drop this below 1, and it should actually start scaling them out. And you can see I can use that to pop them back out of the head there. Now, when I do this, you can see they're no longer laying flush down against the head. That's not a big deal, though. What I can do is, after I've done this, I probably want to clone this into my, let me grab all the curves here. I want to go ahead and clone this into my rest curves as well. So I'll go over here to nHair. We'll go over to Set Rest Position. We'll say from start. That way they'll both be the same. Now I can quickly go over and switch. We'll go here to nHair, Display, Current Position. And I want to just let these kind of relax down. However, I know my animation will begin, so I'm going to stop that. I'll go ahead and show my rig over here. We'll just bring that up. I'll grab this neck joint, which is where the animation is, and I'll just temporarily mute that. I'll just right click. It's a little cut off here, but I'm going over to mute selected. That way it won't actually play back that animation. And I'm going to hit play and let this hair just kind of relax down just a little bit. Just enough for it to straighten out. All right, I think that's good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and select all of those curves. We'll go here to our output curves. We'll come over here to nHair. We'll say set the, let me actually tear off this whole menu. We'll say set the rest position from current. Okay, give that just a second. And then we'll do the same for the start position from current. Oops. Let me actually reselect those curves. There we go. From current. And now I've managed to shorten those hairs and they're back in a more naturalistic position. So if I were to come back over to my hair system and turn the hair back on, we can see it's shorter. However, there is one issue here using this type of a method, or even by manually scaling them. If you take a look at this curve still has 10 points in it, which means it still has the same amount as maybe this one back here, which is 10 points. You could see they're just going to be spaced out a little bit differently. So that might actually affect the dynamics in a way we won't like. That means these are going to be very floppy when really shorter hairs should be less floppy, and we get that effect by having less points. So the other method we can do to shorten these hairs is using something we've actually already taken a look at. I'm going to grab the bald cap over here, and let's say I come over here to N hair, paint hair follicles, and go to the option box. Let me go ahead and bring this stuff in here. Oops, didn't actually mean to dock that, but we'll work with it docked over there anyway. So I'm going to go over here and select trim hairs. And over here, I'm going to make sure that my value isn't 1, because we know if it's set to 1, nothing's actually going to happen. We'll do this right here where we can see it. You can see no effect. But if I drop this to, let's say, 0.5, and then trim these hairs, they will actually shorten. All right, so let's go ahead and exit out of that tool now that we shorten those. All right, and I just went ahead and undocked that. It was in my way there. So now if we go ahead and take a look at these newly changed curves, or these newly trimmed curves, you'll notice that they only have 5 or 6, depending on how short we made them. You can see this one now has 6. So shortening the hairs in those different ways will produce different results. And again, less points is going to mean a much stiffer movement, which might be better for short hairs. So as you decide how you're going to lengthen or shorten your hairs, that is something you want to consider. However, any of the methods we looked at should work out just fine. But anyway, that's a look at how we can change the length of our hairs.